To create a new InDesign document, we'll go to the main menu bar and choose File, New, Document. Notice the keyboard shortcut right next to it. Here's the new document window you'll see. Notice the measurements are set in points, and it also includes facing pages, left, right. Now we might not want these settings for all of our new documents, so we'll go ahead and cancel this. To change the type of measurement that we'll be using, let's go to InDesign, Preferences, Units, and Increments. Here we can change the horizontal and vertical units of measurement that are displayed by InDesign's rulers. So by setting the ruler units to inches here, we're making a global change to InDesign. Now, whenever we create a new document, units of measurement will automatically be set as inches. For this project, we won't need left-right pages like a book, so let's go ahead and turn off facing pages. We'll change the width and the height to the specifications laid out for our project. At the bottom of this window, notice the margin settings. Now we could change these here, but let's wait a moment. We'll come back to this. Click OK to create your new document. Now you can change your margin settings even after creating the document. Let's go up to Layout, Margins, and Columns. If necessary, you can adjust top, bottom, left, and right margins individually. Or click the small chain link icon to make all of the settings the same. Let's specify a 1/4 inch margin all the way around and click OK. Next, choose the Rectangle tool from the toolbox. Click inside your document and you'll get a dialog box where you can set the dimensions for a rectangle. How about 2.5 by 2.5 inches? And click OK. By default, InDesign will apply a black stroke and no fill to this rectangle. Let's swap these so that our rectangle has a black fill and no stroke. Removing this stroke can actually make the rectangle smaller, so let's confirm its dimensions. We can see that its width and height have been reduced slightly. Let's go ahead and change the rectangle's dimensions to 2.5 by 2.5 inches. Using the Selection tool, the solid black arrow, let's go ahead and move this square till it snaps down against the margins in the bottom left corner. Duplicate the squares by using the Selection tool, holding down the Option key on the keyboard, and then click and drag. You can even do this with groups of objects. Now, let's use InDesign's Align feature in order to perfectly space out these squares. We'll go to Window, Object Layout, Align to bring up the alignment tools. At the bottom of this alignment panel, notice Distribute Spacing. With Use Spacing selected and a numeric value entered, we can space these squares out exactly 1/8 of an inch apart. Select all of the squares, then click the Distribute Vertical Space button. Make sure the group of 4 squares is still positioned against that bottom left margin. All 4 squares should now be exactly 1/8 of an inch apart. Now, let's add some horizontal guides. Click in the ruler at the top of your document and drag out a guide. We actually want 3 of these horizontal guides. Snap them to the bottom of the uppermost 3 squares. These guides will help us align additional squares, which will organize in rows. Let's go ahead and duplicate a few more of these squares. Notice how they'll snap to those horizontal guides that we've created. These squares can actually be rectangles of different widths. We can still align them. Select the row of rectangles and distribute their spacing horizontally. Since the distribution space of 1/8 of an inch is still specified, now I have the 4 rectangles separated by a perfect 1/8 inch space. These alignment tools give us great control over our work. Now I know that these rectangles are distributed with a perfect 1/8 inch gap between all of them, vertically and horizontally. Let's select the Type tool. Click and drag in order to create a text frame. Go ahead and type in the name of the project, the class, and your name. Using the Type tool, let's select the project name. A great shortcut is to double-click on a word. Now we can make a selection based on words as opposed to just dragging over individual characters. Let's open up the character panel. Now I can change the typeface for this particular selection. I'll choose Helvetica Bold. I'll set the rest of the line to Helvetica Regular. Change the point size of this selection to 10 point. Let's go back and change the project title to 20 point. Let's move this text frame using the Selection tool. Hold down the space bar and grab the document, repositioning your view. Align the text frame to the top left margin. Though we could manually resize this text frame using the Selection tool, InDesign can help us by exactly sizing the frame to its content. Keep this in mind when sizing frames to images or other artwork. We're now ready to begin placing images in these empty frames.